This podcast is sponsored by Active Skin Repair, a skin health company helping people heal with natural, non-toxic medical grade ingredients. Honestly, it's only the one first aid supply we have right now because Active Skin Repair can be used to treat a wide range of skin issues, including cuts and scrapes and burns and sunburn, which is huge here in Arizona, rashes and other types of skin damage. It's also safe and non-toxic, making it suitable for use on all skin types. I use it on my son's mosquito bites all the time. And it can even be used on rosacea and eczema and acne-prone skin.
Yeah, it's crazy. And seriously, with over 500,000 happy customers and thousands of 5-star reviews and ingredients that are safe and clean and can be used from your youngest member of your household all the way up to your oldest, everybody has one simple solution for all of your family's skincare needs.
So go visit www.activeskinrepair.com to learn more about Active Skin Repair and get 20% off your order. Use code NOGUILT. That's activeskinrepair.com to get 20% off your order. Use the code NOGUILT. So it's all about this idea of training for the life we want. That is what we are looking for in exercise. We're training for the life we want. We don't want to be held up by aches and pains and feeling like that we're weak. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I'm your host, Joanne Crone, joined here by the lovely Brie Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you?
We're talking about something that I think a lot of people have this struggle, Brie.
Oh, yeah.
I know that we've talked about it a lot, and I've tried to get you to come over to my side of it a little bit.
Yeah. I've got a lot of baggage with it, but we'll talk about that in the episode.
I'm interested in the baggage.
Mm-hmm.
So this is coming from a question that we received at our No Guilt Mom inbox, which is hello@noguiltmom.com, by the way, if you have any questions that you want us to tackle in the podcast. But shout out to Emily for this. She said, how do I fit exercise into my busy schedule with kids and prioritize me? And more importantly, get the motivation as I'm always going to do the other thing over this. I'm curious what you do to make it work with your schedule. And that's exactly what we're going to tackle today, especially how to do it when you don't want to do it. That's something I struggle with a lot, Brie. I know you probably struggle with it too.
Oh, a ton, because you know me. I hate exercising. I despise it with every bone in my body, and nothing irritates me more. It's like nails on chalkboard when people are like, exercise gives you endorphins and endorphins make you happy. And it's like, shut up. It does not.
It does not.
My body must be allergic to them then because it does not happen.
Oh, I have a story about that. Okay. Well, we are going to get into all things exercise. So if you're an exercise hater like Brie, this is the episode for you.
Well, wait, also, okay, before we get on with the show. So this episode is not only for people like me, but it's also for people like you. This literally is a episode where we are going to be pro and cons and working it out together. So yeah, this no matter where
you say that, and I'm like, I'm going to win.
No matter where you are in the spectrum of exercise, you are going to be invested in this episode. That's what I got to say.
Yes. So now let's get on with the show.
You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast.
So we were talking about this the other day, Brie, about our events that we go to, like podcast conferences, and we run the No Guilt Mom retreat. And at these events, I completely bonk out. I'm going for 2 days, really high energy. And then all of a sudden I hit the wall and I am done for. I mean, the best example is at the No Guilt Mom retreat where my back started hurting me and I was under the table on the floor when other speakers were talking.
Well, yeah.
Yes, because I was so tired and so just worn out from being on all day.
Right. And I was telling you, like, so it was just the other day we had a group chat going with you, me, and a couple of our friends. And I went to a rally and I was like, oh my God, I am so tired. Like, my body is just done. And it's a couple of things for me. One, I despise it because I feel like it's a sign of getting older, because I didn't used to have this problem even like a few years ago. I will say the pandemic definitely did me in terms of it just completely wrecked my schedule, my lifestyle, in terms of like doing things naturally. Like, that's how I got a lot of my exercise in, was just like naturally doing things. And then when it
was a habit.
Yeah. And when things just kind of stopped, like I never was able to get back into it. And now I'm at this point where I'm like at a deficit. I'm like, so like I just said, even going to a rally and having to stand up, the No Guilt Mom retreat, that exhausts me too. Yeah. Like you're tired, your body aches, and you're like, dude, all I did was stand for a few hours.
And like, I've been talking a lot about like this backlash I have to the whole fitness movement about like lose weight and exercise to look good, because I'm like, screw you all. Like,
oh, I am with you on that one. Like, no, love me for me. I can put on weight and not have less worth. Can you hear the baggage? I'm dragging it behind me as I'm saying that.
Well,
the baggage,
it's also
that
like
my worth is tied to my looks. Go on.
I think a lot of people have that you're worth it. I mean, I have that as well. I'm constantly fighting that in myself. And there's just so many different body types out there that are not honored for how they look and how they are. And something that's helped me a lot is following people online who do have those different body types and who are showing the real them when they're gorgeous. Like, I don't know if you've heard of the Bird's Papaya. She's amazing. She's constantly putting out content out there that shows her beautiful, wonderful body that is larger than societal norms. And it's like, I want that. I want to be strong, but not have to fit the mold of being like this really thin, tiny body who can't eat what she wants, because I like cookies and I like ice cream, and I'm not giving those up anytime soon. But at the same time, we have those instances where we're just exhausted and it becomes not fun. Like being under the table with my back hurting at the No Guilt Mom retreat, that wasn't fun.
No.
I don't want that.
No, I don't like the idea of having to pop ibuprofen after going to a concert because I was at a venue that didn't have a seat. I mean, yes, I am in my mid-40s, but I'm in my mid-40s, right? It's like, yes, I'm not 30 years old anymore, but I am also not 60. Like, I should be able to handle this. And I love my husband. He's 10 years older than me, and he doesn't get as sore. Like, the worst he has is, like, we go places, he'll constantly be like, slow down, my legs aren't as long as yours. I'll be like, hurry it up, we gotta cross the street. I'm like dragging him behind me. But when we go places, like, his body can handle it better. And that's definitely upsetting to me. And it makes me feel shame.
Yeah. So it's all about this idea of training for the life we want. That is what we are looking for in exercise. We're training for the life we want. We don't want to be held up by aches and pains and feeling like that we're weak. And I want to go on vacation and be able to like do this adventurous stuff and not feel tired and worn down. I think it's interesting because Brene Brown, she talks about this when she goes on tour for her books. She has to start working out and exercising like 3 months prior so that she has the stamina to keep up when she's on tour.
See, okay, I'm going to say this right now because I kind of got the feeling that it was a all or nothing kind of thing, that like you either had the energy and the stamina or you don't.
And it's all about producing that stamina way before you need it. It brings to mind also this other situation that we found ourselves in New York. When we went to New York City, it was 2019, and it was me and my family. My son had just turned 6 during that trip. Like, we celebrated his birthday there. My daughter was 11, and my husband and I, we'd worked out. We'd been working out. He was actually doing CrossFit at the time. He was at his like prime level, and I ran and I lifted, and it was great. So that night, July 13th, 2019, it was my son's birthday. That's why I remember the date so well. New York City had a complete blackout. It was like half the island split right down Times Square, so that half of Times Square was just dark and black and nothing worked. And the other half was like lit up with all the lights. And we were staying in the Marriott Marquis, which is right in the middle of Times Square. Very tall hotel. Like we were on the 36th floor. This hotel had the slowest elevators in the entire world. You would wait there at the elevator, and it was a cool elevator ride. You would hate it, Bree, because it was glass, and you could see all 36 stories.
Okay, wait. Is it the Empire State Building? I think you were telling me about that. One of them has like this thing now where like as you go up, it like shows the changing of New York.
Oh, it shows like it's building and like you look at the ceiling.
Is that
and
the
it's
Empire
like
State Building?
Yeah, that is the Empire State Building. They have that elevator.
Yeah, I've just seen that alone on video, and it freaks me the hell out.
No, this glass elevator, I mean, the Marriott Marquis has an open atrium with the room. So it's like 45 floors, and you could see every floor you go by and looking down in that glass elevator.
Wait, there's a glass floor in the elevator?
No glass floor, but it's a glass wall. So you can look into and like you could see everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, slowest elevators in the world. And so we were here in the blackout. Of course, the elevators don't work. And us, along with everybody else, we're all kind of preparing to spend the night in the lobby. It's like 10:30 at night. The blackout has been going on for about 5 hours. And it's hot. And my phone ran out of battery, so I wish I had video of all this. I do not. But we were just getting ready to like lay down. We found our corner in one of the lobbies when all of a sudden you heard the whoosh and all the lights go back on and all the power goes back on and people are cheering. And then the rush to the elevators. And there's this huge line for the elevators. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're not going to get to bed till like midnight or whatever. And so me and my husband, we decide to walk up all 36 flights of stairs with our kids.
Everybody was on board with this plan? I mean, all 4 crones were like, let's do this.
Yeah, because they were sick of being in the lobby. They wanted to be in bed. And they're like, okay. And we're like, we could do it real slow. We can take a lot of breaks. There was a gym on level 20. We could stop there for water. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay, I got a story to follow up with this once you're done. Go.
Okay. Anyways, we go up all of these stairs and it takes us probably about like 20 to 30 minutes to get to our room.
That seems fast.
That's not too bad. Hot
to
and
me.
sweaty. It was 20 to 30 minutes. And the levels aren't too large. Like they're like your typical
split.
Like, I mean, if you look in your house right now, it's like that ceiling. And we saw people huffing and puffing going up just the first few flights. Like they couldn't make it. Their only choice was to wait for the elevator. And it was that time my husband's like, oh my gosh, I see the benefits of being in shape now because things like this happen and you have options versus if you're not in shape, you don't have the option to do it. You can't save yourself. Other people have to save you.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'm out there. Like I'm like I'll be the one that probably gets thrown. Like, you know that thing where they're like running away from things? I will be the slowest runner in the pack.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad.
So after this, we're going to tell you some really easy, workable ways to work in more exercise into your life. And we're going to do it right after this break. I am a water connoisseur and I cannot handle it when it doesn't taste good. I will like toss out water that I'm like, no, that's not good.
And that is why we feel like you guys have got to check out AquaTrue. AquaTrue purifiers use a 4-stage reverse osmosis purification process. And their countertop purifiers, they work with no installation or plumbing. I mean, that makes it work for even me. It removes 15 times more contaminants than your ordinary water pitcher filters and are specifically designed to combat chemicals in your water supply.
And they have water purifiers to fit every type of home, from installation-free countertop purifiers to higher capacity under the sink options. They even have a Wi-Fi connected purifier and mineral boost options. Yeah, it's really cool. So AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. Today, our listeners, you receive 20% off any AquaTrue purifier. Just go to AquaTrue, that's AquaTru aquatru.com and enter code NGM at checkout. That's 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier when you go to aquatru.com and use promo code NGM.
Today's podcast is sponsored by MIDI Health. I have to tell you guys, if you are a woman over 40 like I am, and you have started dealing with some crazy stuff like hot flashes, night sweats, insomnia, brain fog, moodiness, vaginal dryness, weight gain, all of these things that you just are like, what the heck is happening to my body? I'm here to tell you, you don't have to accept it as another part of aging. All of these symptoms can actually be related to perimenopause and menopause. And yes, it can start in your 40s, but I have found a solution. MIDI Health. Seriously, this place is amazing. You can have virtual visits. Their clinicians are experts in menopause. They understand the frustrations, and they also have full range of care options for you. Schedule a virtual visit and you'll come out of the experience feeling heard and with a plan that will work for you. Book your appointment with MIDI Health today. Visit joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com.
Are you overwhelmed by the things that get in the way of you doing what you want to do? Are you looking for ways to simplify life to better align with your values? Do you want to create space in your schedule so you have room for more of the good stuff? Play, joy, relationships, gratitude, and more? If you answered yes to any of these questions, I invite you to check out Edit Your Life, a podcast to help you edit the unnecessary from your life so you have more room to enjoy the awesome. Through episodes with me, Christine Coe, and a range of super smart, compassionate, and thoughtful guests, you'll come away with big picture insights and practical ways to declutter your home, schedule, and mental space without getting bogged down by perfection. I have always believed that small moments and actions matter tremendously. My goal is to help you find agency and space in your life through doable baby steps that will leave you feeling accomplished instead of overwhelmed. Check out Edit Your Life wherever you enjoy your podcasts.
To follow up on your story, like I'm listening to you talking about this and you're like, okay, well, there's a gym on floor 20. We can stop and get floor 20. I remember when I was in college, freshman year. So I'm going to say, like, you never think that you're in good shape, like, especially as girls. I feel like we just constantly think that we're not good enough, like in terms of how we look and everything. So when I was in college, I know I was in good shape, especially looking at myself now. I lived on the 4th floor of my dorm. And oh my God, I remember huffing it all the time, being like,
It's funny. I was on the 4th floor of my dorm too, room 409.
I don't remember my room number, but I distinctly remember us being on the 4th floor and just constantly being like, oh, and we didn't have an elevator in our building because, I mean, at rural Missouri, like we just didn't have an elevator. But the 4th floor. So like hearing you say, oh, we'll stop at the 20th floor for water. I'm like, oh my God. I would have been like,
Well,
nope. I will be up there in 2 hours.
I think that's exactly like what a lot of people think. And the thing with exercise is that the purpose is to stress your body just a little bit more than what you're used to right now. And then your body adapts, and then it adapts, and you stress it more and it adapts and adapts. So it's not like one thing where like you're suddenly going to go from being able not to climb 4 stairs to like 36 flights. It's like a gradual process. So if you're coming into it, you're listening right now and you're like, oh my gosh, I could never make that happen. Trust me, it will happen. It'll happen. But let's get into some tips that I found. I have 3 for you. So the first one is to start with something you like and you enjoy. And this was really hard for me at first because I tend to go all in on stuff real fast and then I like get burnt out on it and I never want to do it ever again. That's a personality thing with me.
I know a lot of people that have that personality thing. In my family, it's food. My daughter does that with food. Like she'll find something she loves and she eats so much of it that like a year later, like, hey, I got you that macaroni and cheese you love. And she's like, nope, can't touch it again. Never again.
Yeah, exactly. My kids are like that too.
So wait, so what is something that you've burnt yourself out on in terms of exercise? I'm curious.
Oh, running for sure. For sure, running. Because I was
running. What else? Like, what
I
about
was a marathon runner, and I ran all the time. Bar, yep, totally. I was going to bar like all the time until suddenly, like, I have no interest in bar.
I remember that. You dragged me there once. You dragged me there once at 5 a.m. I did not like you.
It was good at the time. I got tired of it.
You get bored.
And I realized like, yeah, I need a lot of variety, a
Uh-huh.
lot of variety. Like right now, walking the dog is good for me, except currently I have
It's
not
so
done
hot.
that for the past month because it's deadly hot out in Phoenix and not fun.
Right? Like, so that's been part of my problem too. So last year, for the first time ever, well, okay, let me back that up a tiny bit. Like, I am sensitive to heat, but I don't think I'm like overly sensitive. I'm more sensitive than the average bear, but I'm not like crazy sensitive. And the reason I would say than the average bear is just because like I had a job for a long time. You've heard me talk about my past life where I was a home visitor and you'd have to go out to people's homes. And here in Phoenix, that meant that your car would be 125 degrees from sitting in the sun. So I would get, if I had to do too many visits in the summer, I would get heat exhaustion and I'd have to like take a sick day for the rest of the day. So I had to find ways to work around that. But last year, first year that, do you remember how many days we had of over 110 in a row?
I don't pay attention to it.
Okay, it was over 30. I remember that. And anyway, my husband and I would take walks with the dog, like, well, because we live in a townhouse and we don't have a yard. So we'd walk the dog in the morning and at night. And I had to stop walking with him in the morning because I was giving myself, like, I was getting migraines. No matter how much I would bring water with me, it didn't help. It was just so over 110 degrees by like 8 in the morning. And I'm sorry, I can't do a 5 a.m. walk. I can't. So yeah, I had to stop doing that. And so I feel you. Like, it's just too hot to be outside and do pretty much anything right now. Like, I don't even get to go do my paddle boarding that I love.
It is.
Because it's so damn hot.
It is. So it's good to like experiment and find things that you do like. Yin yoga, I really, really like. I like going to a studio and doing it too. And I found
restorative.
It's not restorative. It's holding poses for like 2 to 3 minutes, but they're poses like you rest and relax in. So like you're totally supported in like, say,
okay, so it's not like Pilates.
It's not Pilates. You're not moving everything, but you're holding it. It's like a very big stretching class, basically. And your heart rate goes down and it's really good to calm the nervous system. And I like it. It keeps me flexible. And then it helps me do other things easier, like integrate more fitness into my daily life. I do like weightlifting, depending on the day. Some days I'm like cursing the weightlifting instructors that I use on my Peloton app, which we're going to talk about in the next tip. And I like walking. I can walk anywhere. And so I have like a little mobile walking pad for my desk and I walk when I work, and that helps my attention as well as gets exercise done at the same time, because it's not like a time killer. It's something that like, hey, I have this thing I have to do. I have to work, but I can walk too. And I can get about 9,000 steps in during the day.
Yeah.
So that's working as well. But find something you like. I started marathon running when I was 22 years old because I'd always wanted to run a marathon. And to add to your exercise causes endorphins comment, I did not get endorphins from running to begin with. I didn't like running. I hated it. And I heard about this runner's high and I'm just like, oh, it's not for me. This runner's high is not for me. And that's what I believed. And then I started marathon training. And for these runs, like during the week, I would need to run at a continuous pace for like 6 miles, usually about 6 hours, the pace I was going. And I would be like about 10, 15 minutes in the run. Like after doing this consistently, you start to see patterns in how your body reacts to things. About 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
Say 6 miles?
Yeah.
Dear God.
A marathon's like 26.2. So 6 miles was easy.
Yeah, people that do marathons are crazy.
Well, it's all about like moving your point of crazy.
I understand that. Like I have an aversion, but keep going.
It's moving your point of crazy. So when I started the run, I usually felt good. And then like 10 to 15 minutes in, I'm like, this sucks. I hate this. I hate this so damn much. Like, what am I doing running? Everything aches. Like my knees ache. How am I going to be like 6 miles? Yeah. And before I had that commitment for the marathon, I would have stopped right there. I would have been like, I hate running. I'm going to walk. And I'm like, no, I go to group runs on Saturday. Everybody has to leave me because I have to walk. I really want to see where this goes. And so I just kept running at like a slower pace than I would have before, just to say that I could keep running. At 20 minutes, something happened where all of a sudden the run seemed easy and I got like this smile on my face and I'm like, holy crap, I think I'm getting a runner's high. And it took longer than I thought it would. But they do kick in. The endorphins do kick in. It just needs probably more of a sustained effort than you're giving it, is my story for it. So I know that they kick in now, but you have to really push through the little hard part around 10 to 15 minutes for them to show up.
Yeah, I do believe that. Like, I believe it's there, but like you said, getting me to the point of that, I've only had one time in my entire life where I feel like I exercised, I really stuck to a routine and enjoyed exercising. Mm-hmm. That was, oddly enough, when you first met me. I lost about 30, 40 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Right before my son hit kindergarten. Because, well, actually, no, it was right that time. It was the year my son was in kindergarten because I took a year off from work and tried and was doing my own business thing. So I had a lot more flexibility in time. And when I started working out, like we had a treadmill in our garage, I was getting like immediate results. Like I would just go on the treadmill and every day I was losing like half a pound. And I remember my ex-husband was like, what the hell? That's not fair. Like that doesn't happen. It was so weird having like, because normally it's like, men that can lose weight easier than women. Like my ex was just like, what the hell? That's not fair. I don't lose weight like that. And I'm like, I guess it's just my body didn't need a whole lot. It just needed me to get up off my butt and do something. So that was the only time I ever actually enjoyed it. But it did get to a point where I was obsessed with it. It got to the point where I was terrified that if I didn't work out for that day, I was going to gain weight. And it was like, it was definitely.
That's a hard one.
Right. And that's also part of like where a lot of this comes from. Like I had lost all that weight. And again, ex-husband is ex-husband for a reason. So I don't need to give anybody extra reasons to not like this person. But I will say that next year after I had lost that weight, like we would used to go away all the time for our anniversary and we were in Palm Springs and whatever. And he just says, I said something about like having lost the weight and I was feeling better. And by the way, most of that weight was from my kids. That was the baby weight that I had just like never lost. Because again, my oldest was 5. Like I know a lot of women, it takes a lot of years to lose the weight. And I had 2 kids back to back. Anyway, my ex tells me on the trip, like, oh yeah, I was so glad you lost the weight. Cause like if I just, if you didn't lose it, I was going to have to like, I don't think I could have stayed with you. And I'm like, what? And he has weight issues.
You see me, I'm like making the face right now, being like, imagine lemon sour face being like.
This episode's airing in just like 2 weeks. So yeah, it'll anyway, like he has his own weight issues. Like his family has had like weight issues. And so because of it, he has an unhealthy perception of weight and was constantly terrified of gaining weight. So he had his baggage. She was dragging behind him, but then he was throwing his baggage at me. Anyways, my point of the story is that because he said that, I became even more unhealthily obsessed with I had to like lose weight, I had to stay a certain weight or else he was going to see me as less than. And it did. It was a true, he was being honest, but it was truly a thing. A few years later, when we ended up getting divorced, like I had gained some weight because I had a knee injury, which had made it so that I had limited mobility. And I think I gained like 10 pounds. And I said something to him like when we were getting divorced, like when we first, like we're talking like the first week talking about it. And I'm like, has some of my weight gain been part of this? He's like, well, it hasn't helped. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
Asshole.
And so now, right? But now,
that just came out.
It's okay. It's okay. But now everybody in podcast land can understand where that baggage comes from.
There is baggage.
Where like I feel some comfort in being out of shape and overweight because then I'm like, the way I see that for me at this moment, and this is not healthy either. that I know that people still like me for me, not because I have this like perfect hourglass figure and I'm tall and slender and whatever. Like if you are still my friend, you're my friend because you're my friend, even if I have gained weight. Like, so
I can understand that.
And my spouse too, like my husband now loves me no matter what. Like I have definitely gained weight since we first started dating and are now married, and he doesn't care. But I'm not happy. So that does move me into this, like, I'm with you on this. So like for people, I got to tell you, Joanne, like when you brought up the whole point of training for the life you want to live, that has gotten me to shift. So.
Oh, cool. Well, we're going to get into 2 more tips for you and how to find more time to exercise right after this.
Lynn, this time of year, parenting can be such a flusterclux.
You've come to the right place. I'm Lynn Lyons, and I've been treating anxious families for over 30 years.
I'm Lynn's sister-in-law and co-host Robin Hudson.
Join us for Flusterclux, a podcast for parents who worry.
Wait, that's everybody.
Yeah, these last few years have felt like one long anxiety attack for so many.
Why do you think parents are always surprised that a podcast about anxiety relates to them, even if no one in their house has an anxiety disorder?
Well, worry is human. Everyone does it, and anxiety shows up when we face uncertainty.
All the parenting tips you've taught me have been essential.
I love to break it down into skills we need to manage worry in our families.
We've covered so many topics: depression, burnout, meltdowns, perfectionism.
Don't forget scary mothers-in-law.
Right, but of course that's not my mother-in-law.
Because that's my mother.
And a listener.
As a psychotherapist, I like to teach parents and kids how to respond to everyday moments in healthy ways.
Managing anxiety really can be taught.
It really can. And I'll even tell you what to say.
We talk about serious stuff, but without being too serious.
Anxiety wants everything serious. Anxiety doesn't stand a chance when we're laughing, even about the tough stuff.
When it comes to raising kids, there's so much to consider. Things like, what do we feed them? When do we feed them? How do they sleep? What does it look like to raise kind kids? How does their nervous system work? How do I keep myself calm? What are my triggers? There's so much that comes into play, and we are distilling all of that information for you at Voices of Your Village podcast, where we bring experts in the field of early childhood and education and psychology and across the board so that you don't have to comb the internet for information. You get to show up and hang out and have shame-free, judgment-free conversations and insights into what it looks like to raise kind, empathetic, emotionally intelligent humans. I'm Alyssa Blask Campbell. I have a master's degree in early childhood education. I'm a mom of 2, and I am walking this journey right alongside you doing this work. Come hang out with me at Voices of Your Village, and we can dive into real conversations with actionable tips.
If you're a parent, I invite you to join us at the Mindful Mama podcast, where it's all about becoming a less irritable, more joyful parent. With sometimes hilarious and always thought-provoking experts and friends, at Mindful Mama, we know that you cannot give what you do not have. And when you have calm and peace within, then you can give it to your children. I'm Hunter Clark Fields, and I can't wait to see you there. Listen in to the Mindful Mama podcast.
So we went over trying to find something you like. And the next thing to do is trying to make it fit into your life. So like breathe all the things, knowing like why you hate exercise the way you do. That's really important to know.
It is. It is.
And it's important to figure out like priorities in terms of why you are exercising. So like training for the life you live. Yes. Training for a certain body type. Please don't do that. No one do that. No.
You got to remember that those are 2 different things. Like you just said, the life you want to live is not the body. It's the life.
It's not the body.
Yeah.
No, it's the life. It's being strong. It's having a good VO2 max, which is like how much you could work out, like your cardio, without feeling that fatigued, without gasping for breath. That's your VO2 max. You try to get that up with more cardio. But in terms of actually feeling strong, the best thing that's going to work for you is lifting and lifting weights. And going to the gym is not the easiest thing. I have taken out going to the gym from my life. I work out at home. Now, bear in mind, we have a gym in my home. So let's just be out
But
there.
that
right
was
now.
a priority for your family, was like.
That was a priority. We put it in there when we moved about 2 years ago. And it has everything we had. Like my husband is Olympic weightlifting. So he has those weights, which were in our really hot garage. Now they're in our basement, which is air conditioned. So it's very nice. And we had a Peloton already, which was in our bedroom. Now that's down there as well. Peloton, the pandemic purchase that I think everybody got, which is why the company like grew so much during that time. So find something easy. So the thing I have set up for me is, first of all, I do have a Peloton membership, and you don't need the bike to have a Peloton membership. And they're pretty inexpensive. It's like $10 a month. What it is just an app on your phone that has all of these classes that you could take on it. And it's overwhelming, the number of classes on there. So much so that me, who has a trouble making decisions, I can go, like, if I go on there, I'm like, should I take this one? Should I take that one? Will that one be better for me? Will that one, like, I can't. So I'm part of this free Facebook group. It's called Hardcore on the Floor. We're going to put the link in the show notes for you. And Hardcore on the Floor, the woman who runs it, she makes a schedule of Peloton classes for you to take. And the entire group is taking those classes usually at the same time. So you have that built-in community and you have the classes that you're supposed to take. So start with that, something like that. And what I have when I first start exercising is I have, you call it in like the business world, the minimum viable product, which is like, what can you put out there that is the least amount of work that will still get results? I do that with exercise. I'm like, what is the minimum amount that I am going to commit to each day? And I make that real low. And the minimum amount for me is a 10-minute core class. That's it, 10 minutes. That's all I push myself to do. Usually after those 10 minutes, I know straight away if I want to go into more and more in the calendar, or if I'm like, I'm good. So
I think 10 minutes is doable. I just need to hold myself accountable to that.
And you could do it whatever, like a 10-minute class. You don't even have to like change into gym clothes. You don't even have to go into a different room. You could just put it on your phone, plop down on your floor, do it right there.
Yeah.
That's what I actually did during our whole New Zealand vacation. I just put it on my phone. I did it right there. Done. In my pajamas.
There you go.
So those are two things to do. Another thing to do is I have a walking pad, which I talked about. And the walking pad is just a treadmill that you move everywhere. And I have a stand-up desk since I work from home. And so when I'm writing or when I'm organizing or doing anything, I pull out that walking pad so I'm walking and working at the same time. So really about killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, so that's like how it used to work that way for me, because I always had jobs where I was up and moving around a lot. At home visitation, like you're up, you're playing with kids, you're walking around a ton. When I worked for the school district, I was teaching classes and I helped run a resource center. So in the resource center days, like there were some days where I never sat down. I was just running back and forth all day. And I think about it now and like, I wouldn't be able to do that. So yeah,
you'd probably build up to it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a teacher, the first week coming back to the classroom after summer vacation was real physically strenuous. Like I was tired and beat and achy. And again, with exercise, when you stress your body learns to adapt. So like trust that when you start exercising, you're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. Give yourself like, of course, that rest time and that recuperation time. But also like, and compassion. Yes, but also know that you're not doing anything wrong by being sore and tired. In fact, that's your body's sign that you are adapting and doing exactly what you need to do. So all it takes is like that minimum viable product and just get out there the next day. And when you keep doing that, you will see the impact it has on your strength, on your sleep. It really impacts my sleep. I get great sleep when I'm working out. My mood is so much calmer. I'm less jittery. I'm less like fear-based, you know, that fear you have with anxiety. Like, everything goes down. Everything goes down.
They do like all the psychiatrists and therapists that we've talked to, like they all talk about how like just going for a walk can really help your mental state. Just a walk.
Really, really helps. Really helps. And then number 3, and this is something that you can look forward to in exercise. Know that your actions really do impact others. Like when you start exercising, other people in your life are going to see it and they're going to start doing it as well. I mean, it's happened to me so many times. When I ran marathons, like all of my friends were like, Joanne, you're so crazy. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you running a marathon? My sister said I was crazy. My friends in LA at the time, it was Jody, Beth, and Becca, all said I was crazy.
Can we also point out that your sister now does marathons herself?
So like when I started marathon, about a year after, my friend Eva decided to do Team for Training for a marathon. Becca and Beth actually started to be a triathlete. She finished the Ironman. Okay. Becca did triathlons. Jody did some triathlons too. Jody did some marathons. My brother-in-law, Nick, did the 2007 Rock and Roll Arizona Marathon with me.
Oh my gosh.
My coworker, Chelsea, trained for a marathon with me that same time and did that marathon with me. And then she went to San Diego with me and did that marathon. So people in your life will come out and be inspired by what you do. Right now, my daughter was so pushing against these Peloton classes. She's like, I just don't want to do them, Mom. That's just not how I exercise. She came to my office yesterday after a year of pushback, and she's like, how do I make this work? How do I make the TV work? How do I do this Peloton class? I need to do something to move my body. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. Right? So it impacts others, and you will see it when you start.
It does. I'm definitely a social person. So working out at home doesn't work well for me. I do much better when I'm around other people and I'm enjoying myself. And like you said, like moving your body, having fun, like some of my favorite workout classes I had, there was one called Pound where like you had these drumsticks. I really loved that one. And I liked, is it Zumba? Yeah, I liked that one too a lot. And I do love yoga. So, but I am making a moment so people can hear us. Like I am going on live and saying I am going to definitely start working out more because again, I'm finding that I'm not doing the things that I used to enjoy because I know I don't have the physical stamina for it. And then that's making me sad. It's making me sad. Yeah.
Time's a huge issue. And I kind of want to address what I think is a limiting belief about you needing to be social and exercise at the same time.
Okay.
Because back to our second point of find something easy. It's hard to get out of your house to find the time to go get into a class and like actually find a class, go do the class, pay for the class, all of those things. Those are really like things that are resistance that could keep you back from exercising.
True.
I think that it's a great thing to go and socialize and exercise, but just notice if you're tying it to that and that's holding you back from actually doing the thing.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I could see that. Like you could be like, because I don't have the time to find a class or I can't find a class that fits my schedule, I'm not doing it at all. I think in my case, that is a very good point because we do belong to a gym over here and they do not have the classes at times that I would like to take them. That honestly, the only yoga class that I could make it to there are Fridays at 5. Who the F wants to go work out on Friday at 5? It is the worst time for a class. So yeah, I think I'm going to try it. I think I'm actually going to because I know my husband wants to work out more. I think I'm going to try to really get us to commit to working out together because I think once we get ourselves started.
But even there's the together thing again. Like you could do this on your own, Brie. You could do this.
I can.
You could do it with just a 10-minute like minimum viable product. Because when you say working out together, there's an hour commitment right there. There's the driving to the gym. There's the figuring out when Miguel is like actually free.
Oh no, I mean working out here at home together. But still, yeah, you're right. Going to the gym too is tough because he always wants to go in the morning, and I'm not ready to go work out in the morning. I'm an afternoon person.
Yeah.
You know that.
May I suggest ClassPass? ClassPass is a great option. Instead of maybe belonging to the gym, do a ClassPass and you can go around to all the little yoga studios and find something.
Yeah.
I have it. I'll come with you.
I will. Okay. I have to digest all this and figure it out.
It'll be good. I know. I text you all the time. I'm like, Brie, I'm going to yoga. Want to come? You're like, no, I can't. I have a meet.
I know. That's the other. Yeah, we all have crazy stuff. Like the last time you wanted to go to a thing, I was like, I can't. I have an HOA meeting. And can I just say how annoying it is to live in a neighborhood that has 2 HOAs?
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. HOAs are ridiculous. But anyways.
Yeah. Like, and each meeting is like 2 hours. So like that is 4 hours a month just in HOA meetings. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Not that everybody has to go to HOA meetings. Like I'm on one of the HOA boards, so I have to go to one of them, which kind of makes it so by default, I feel responsible to go to the other one too. But it kind of sucks. I'm gonna say it kind of sucks.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I'm not doing it again. I'm done.
We hope that we gave you some tips that you could use in your own life. And we want to hear the tips you use. So please come share with us on Instagram. It's at NoGuiltMom, or email us hello@noguiltmom.com and let us know how this worked for you.
Or leave a review. Tell us what you thought of this episode. Did it make any changes? Did it move your needle any? Again, Breeze. So I'm going to tell you right now, again, this is like accountability. I'm putting this out to the podcast world. I want to be able to go to an all weekend music festival. And I also want to go on a weekend paddleboarding trip. I've already got the trip like figured out. I'll share it with you. I want to go to Emerald Cove and like do all kinds of, but I know I do not have the stamina right now. So that is my goal, to get to those things.
Gotta get it.
Live the life I want to live.
I could give you some suggestions on what you could start doing for that.
Okay. I will take them. I will, because I do need some guidance for sure.
You need some walking pad. You need a walking pad. Totally. I know. I know.
All right.
Until next time, remember, the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for stopping by.
Are you a parent in need of a laugh and a little escape? Look no further. Parenting is a Joke is the podcast you've been waiting for. Hey, I'm Ophira Eisenberg. I'm a stand-up comic and parent. And each week I chat with one of my top comedian pals who, just like you, are juggling careers, busy lives and schedules, and raising a family. You can expect candid stories, hilarious mishaps that happen on stage and at home, and just a lot of laughs. There's no expert advice here. Well, actually, sometimes a good idea does sneak its way in, but mostly just pure, relatable fun to remind you that we're all in this parenting adventure together. New episodes of Parenting is a Joke drop every Tuesday, so tune in, get ready to laugh, unwind, and maybe even feel a little bit better about your own parenting. Because sometimes that's exactly what your therapist, pediatrician, and bartender ordered. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform.